House Harkonnen is a name that conjures images of oppression, cruelty, and unrestrained ambition in the Dune universe. Among the great noble houses of the Imperium, the Harkonnens stand apart for their ruthless methods, exploitative economy, and unrelenting thirst for power. Their story is not merely one of tyranny, it is a cautionary tale about the dangers of greed and the corrupting influence of power. Today, we'll explore the rise, reign, and fall of House Harkonnen, delving into their origins, key players, ideology, and their enduring impact on the galaxy. To understand House Harkonnen, we must begin with their origins. In the distant past, the Harkonnens were a relatively minor noble house within the Landsraad, the political council that governed the noble families of the Imperium. Their rise to prominence coincided with one of the most transformative events in human history, the Butlerian Jihad. This galaxy-spanning conflict was a rebellion against the domination of humanity by sentient machines, culminating in the destruction of artificial intelligence and the imposition of strict anti-AI laws. While the role of House Harkonnen during the Jihad is not detailed explicitly in Frank Herbert's works, historical context suggests that they, like many other noble houses, seized upon the chaos of the Jihad to position themselves advantageously. The end of the Jihad marked the birth of the Imperium, a feudal society where noble families were granted dominion over planets in exchange for their loyalty to the Emperor. The Landsraad and other power players, such as the Spacing Guild and the Bene Gesserit, also rose to prominence during this time. House Harkonnen's ascent truly began on their homeworld, Giedi Prime. Originally a lush and resource-rich planet, Giedi Prime was transformed over centuries into a polluted, industrialized wasteland. This transformation reflected the Harkonnens' philosophy: extract every resource, exploit every opportunity, and prioritize short-term profit over long-term consequences. The ecological destruction of Giedi Prime became a symbol of the Harkonnens' unsustainable greed and their disregard for anything beyond their immediate gain. Giedi Prime was a hellish place, a planet of enduring night with black skies and oppressive heat. The Harkonnens had transformed their homeworld into a bastion of industry and military might, stripping it of any natural beauty. Towering factories belched smoke into the air, and the landscape was a maze of industrial complexes and barracks. The populace lived under constant surveillance, their lives dictated by the whims of their Harkonnen overlords. The industrialization of Giedi Prime also mirrored their approach to governance. The planet became a factory world, with its economy driven by heavy industry, mining, and military production. The majority of the population lived in harsh, inhumane conditions, working as labourers and slaves for the benefit of a small elite. This elite, consisting of Harkonnen family members and their close allies, ruled with an iron fist, ensuring absolute loyalty through fear. Fear indeed was the primary tool of Harkonnen control. On Giedi Prime, public executions, constant surveillance, and brutal punishments were everyday occurrences. The Harkonnens believed in breaking the spirit of their subjects to maintain order, a philosophy that defined their rule not only on Giedi Prime, but on every planet under their dominion. The philosophy of House Harkonnen can be summed up in one word: domination. They viewed power as an end in itself, achieved through any means necessary. While other houses might have cloaked their ambitions in ideals or principles, the Harkonnens embraced their nature as predators. Their motto could have been survival of the fittest, with fitness measured by cunning, ruthlessness, and the ability to exploit others. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen epitomized this philosophy. Unlike the noble, almost chivalric ideals of House Atreides, the Harkonnens rejected notions of honour or justice as weakness. For them, control was paramount, and the best way to maintain control was through fear, exploitation, and manipulation. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen stood at the expansive window of his opulent quarters, gazing out over the industrial wasteland of Giedi Prime. The planet's surface was a testament to his family's unrelenting pursuit of wealth and power, regardless of the environmental cost. The Baron's lips curled into a satisfied smile as he contemplated the intricate web of deceit and manipulation he had woven to maintain his dominance over the Landsraad and the Spacing Guild. The Harkonnens' influence extended even into the secretive workings of the Bene Gesserit. As part of their centuries-long genetic program to create the Kwisatz Haderach, a prophesied super-being capable of bridging time and space, the Bene Gesserit orchestrated marriages and alliances between noble houses. One of their most significant maneuvers was connecting the bloodlines of House Harkonnen and House Atreides. Unknown to most, Lady Jessica, the concubine of Duke Leto Atreides and the mother of Paul Atreides, was the daughter of Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. This revelation deepened the already bitter feud between the two houses, adding a layer of personal animosity to their political rivalry. The Harkonnens reached the height of their power when they were granted stewardship of Arrakis, also known as Dune. Arrakis was the most important planet in the galaxy because it was the only source of melange, or spice. This substance was essential for space travel, longevity, and the enhancement of mental abilities, making it the most valuable resource in the Imperium. Under Harkonnen rule, spice production on Arrakis was maximised through brutal and exploitative methods. They enslaved the native Fremen population, imposed harsh production quotas, and cared little for the ecological consequences of their actions. For the Harkonnens, the desert world of Arrakis was simply a means to an end, a source of wealth and power. While the Harkonnens saw the Fremen as a primitive and insignificant people, they failed to recognise their potential as a formidable resistance force. The Fremen had adapted to the harsh desert environment of Arrakis, developing survival skills and a warrior culture that made them exceptional fighters. Over time, they grew increasingly resentful of Harkonnen oppression and began to resist in subtle but effective ways, sabotaging spice production, ambushing Harkonnen forces, and establishing a network of safe havens in the deep desert. This resistance, dismissed by the Harkonnens as minor nuisance, would eventually play a pivotal role in their downfall. At the centre of House Harkonnen's power was Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. He was a man of excesses, physically grotesque, morally depraved, and utterly ruthless. Yet he was also a brilliant strategist and manipulator. Under his leadership, the Harkonnens solidified their control over Giedi Prime, expanded their influence in the Landsraad, and maintained their dominance over Arrakis. The Baron's nephews, Glossu Rabban and Feyd-Rautha, were central to his plans. Rabban, nicknamed the Beast, was a brutal enforcer, used to terrorise populations and enforce the Harkonnens' will through violence. Feyd-Rautha, in contrast, was groomed as the Baron's heir, a charismatic and ambitious figure who embodied the cunning side of the Harkonnen legacy. Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen, the Baron's favoured nephew and heir, sparred with a training slave in the gladiatorial arena. His lithe form moved with deadly grace, each strike calculated to inflict maximum pain. As he delivered the final blow, he glanced up at his uncle, who watched from the stands with an approving nod. Feyd-Rautha's heart swelled with ambition, knowing that one day he would surpass even the Baron's formidable legacy. The rivalry between House Harkonnen and House Atreides came to a head when Emperor Shaddam IV ordered the Harkonnens to relinquish control of Arrakis to the Atreides. This was part of a larger conspiracy. The Emperor and the Harkonnens plotted to use the transfer of Arrakis as a trap to destroy House Atreides. The plan unfolded with devastating efficiency. The Harkonnens, supported by the Emperor's Sardaukar troops, launched a surprise attack on the Atreides, killing Duke Leto and retaking Arrakis. However, they failed to eliminate Paul Atreides, who escaped into the desert and found refuge among the Fremen. Paul Atreides united the Fremen and launched a revolution against the Harkonnens. Using guerrilla tactics and their intimate knowledge of the desert, the Fremen undermined spice production and launched devastating attacks on Harkonnen forces. The rebellion culminated in Paul's triumphant return to Arrakeen, where he defeated the Harkonnens in a climactic confrontation. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen was killed by Paul's sister Alia in a moment of poetic justice. Feyd-Rautha, the Baron's heir, faced Paul in single combat and was defeated. With their leadership destroyed and their military shattered, House Harkonnen collapsed. House Harkonnen's story remains one of the most compelling aspects of the Dune universe. Their rise and fall exemplify the dangers of unchecked ambition and the corrupting influence of power. Their legacy, from the ecological devastation of Giedi Prime to the exploitation of Arrakis, serves as a warning about the cost of tyranny. Even in defeat, the shadow of House Harkonnen lingers in the Imperium, a testament to the darker side of humanity's drive for dominance. Thanks for watching Legends of Lore. If you found this interesting, feel free to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. Also, be sure to let me know if you have any requests for future topics. Make sure to hit the bell so you don't miss upcoming videos. See you next time as we explore more incredible stories. Thank you.